When you think of UFOs, where do you think of first? Which country do you most associate with alien abduction stories and flying saucer sightings? For most, there's only one answer: America. But while it's true that the USA has hosted a great number of these mysteries in the past, there have been other sightings too, from across the world map. This is Unveiled, and today we're exploring 4 extraordinary alien and UFO encounters that didn't happen in America.
Are you a fiend for facts? Are you constantly curious? Then why not subscribe to Unveiled for more clips like this one and ring the bell for more fascinating content.
Ever since the Roswell incident in 1947, America has been the location of choice for many and most UFOs, making the US a hotbed for alien hunters and enthusiasts. But actually, ufology isn't only an American thing. And in this video, we're taking a closer look at 4 more close encounters that didn't take place in the States. The first takes us to South America and Brazil. For a long time, the alleged abduction of one Antonio Villas-Boas in 1957 was probably the most famous alien story to come out of the country. To recap, if you haven't heard it before, Villas-Boas' account involved him being taken to an alien ship, inside which he met, had relations with, and impregnated a tall humanoid female extraterrestrial. He was then forced to leave his alien partner so that she could raise their hybrid child in space. The story was one of the first ever widely known UFO claims from outside the US. But today, Brazil has another to offer: the Varginha incident. This time, rather than just one man's testimony, the cries of alien come from multiple sources. The incident unfolded in 1996, when at first a mysterious creature was reportedly sighted by 3 people. It was said to be around 5 feet tall, with the archetypally large alien head and thin alien body. Its eyes, it was claimed, were bright red. Less than a week later, and another similar creature was allegedly found elsewhere in the city. And then, another was spotted at the local zoo. By the time local farmers reported seeing a UFO hovering over their fields and distressing their cows, there was a real feeling that the area really had become a site for genuine alien contact. Interestingly, the official explanations for the sightings given by the government and the military never really explained much at all. There was a vague suggestion that the 3 people who saw the first alleged alien were simply mistaken, and there were various denials when rumors emerged that the army had been drafted in to deal with the sightings that followed, but not much else. All of which means that Varginha is now something of a place of pilgrimage for alien seekers, with various monuments in the area celebrating its UFO links. Not every alien hotspot is quite so eager to draw attention to itself, though. Next, we head to Lake Baikal in Siberia in Russia. Here, the claims of UFO activity date back decades to the height of the Cold War. But one case in particular refuses to go away. It surrounds a Russian diving mission that took place in 1982 and saw 7 divers descend below the surface of Baikal, but only 4 of them returned alive. So what happened? Well, whilst exploring, the group reportedly came across a pod of underwater alien creatures. The creatures were again said to be humanoid, but around 9 or 10 feet tall and with a silver, shimmery gleam to their bodies. They were also seemingly breathing without oxygen tanks. The encounter took a turn for the worse, though, when some of the divers moved toward the apparent aliens, which prompted them all to be suddenly, inexplicably, pushed back to the surface of the lake. It appeared as though the aliens had repelled their discoverers, and in doing so, had forced them all to suffer decompression and the bends, leaving 4 seriously ill and 3 instantly dead. In the days, weeks, and years that followed, so little was said about the incident that it was almost lost to history forever. There are no records of the surviving divers ever speaking about it again, which has prompted many a theory that they were silenced by the Soviet government, who were keen to keep the alien presence under wraps. Equally, there's little solid evidence that this is what happened either. For now, the Lake Baikal creatures remain a mystery, and one of the most compelling alien claims of all time. But next, we return to dry land and to the warmer climes of Spain in 1979. The Manises incident is comfortably the most famous UFO story from Spain, seeing as it was deemed serious enough at the time to ground a passenger plane carrying more than 100 people. Late on November 11th of that year, the plane had been flying to Las Palmas on the island of Gran Canaria. But then, the pilot reported seeing a series of unexplainable red lights. The lights appeared to copy the movements of the plane, squaring up to it and seemingly getting closer. Fearing a mid-air crash, the plane's pilot changed course and altitude multiple times, but the lights continued to follow until he was forced to emergency land at Manises Airport on the mainland. Only then did the lights disappear. Never before had a passenger plane been forced into an emergency landing thanks to a UFO. This was a global first, and so a jet from the Spanish Air Force was quickly sent up to investigate the unprecedented situation. Any cynics on the ground might have expected the Air Force to report no further findings, but what actually happened was the Spanish military racing through the air, trying to make contact with an unidentified cone-shaped object. For more than an hour, there were multiple attempts to catch a mysterious, brightly colored shape in the sky before the Air Force jet's communications were scrambled and the chase was called off. To this day, no one knows what really happened that night, but whatever it was, it caused genuine panic over the Mediterranean Sea. And panic is a word we could also use in describing our final non-US UFO case today. Now we're heading to Zimbabwe in Africa, and again, to the mid-1990s. The Ariel school sighting took place on the outskirts of the town of Ruwa in 1994, when students at the school were taking their morning break. It wasn't until the late 2000s that this story began to attract public attention, and the details surrounding it are still scarce. But UFO hunters today consider it to be one of the most convincing examples out there. In total, more than 60 of the school's students claim to have witnessed one or more UFOs descend onto the playground before at least two figures emerged from them. Humanoid figures between 3 and 4 feet tall, dressed in black, with large heads, long hair, and black eyes. There were some reports of a conversation between the children and the alleged aliens, although others infer that while messages were conveyed, it was all done telepathically, without any speech at all. Either way, what was said, according to multiple accounts, the aliens were intent on warning their listeners about the environment. When the Ariel school children were interviewed afterwards, many of them recalled being told about pollution and technology and about how humanity was damaging its home. Some even claimed to have left the encounter with a sense that the world was going to end. What really intrigues UFO hunters, though, is the apparent consistency between all the stories. So many details were repeated time and time again, making it difficult to explain away what happened as just an instance of mass hysteria. The children that were involved are also now adults, and still no one has come forward to reveal that it was a hoax, that they'd somehow all agreed to just make it up, leading many to believe that they didn't make it up, and it wasn't a hoax, that this really was an alien visitation, a true first contact between us and an extraterrestrial species. What's your verdict? Which of these UFO stories, if any, do you think is most likely to be the real deal? We've seen a triple sighting in Brazil, a fatal underwater encounter in Russia, an airborne mystery in Spain, and a doomsday warning delivered in Zimbabwe. Clearly, this is a worldwide issue. The USA grabs most of the headlines, sure, but perhaps some of the most important stories come from elsewhere, because those are 4 alien and UFO encounters that didn't happen in America.
What do you think? Is there anything we missed? Let us know in the comments, check out these other clips from Unveiled, and make sure you subscribe and ring the bell for our latest content.